Welcome to our Students with King Nonviolence Spotlight Series. Today we're going to tell you about an amazing member of Dr. King's family who is helping to change the world. When you hear her awesome story, it will hopefully spark something in you to make a difference and make your community better for everybody. Our spotlight person is Miss Celeste Beal. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia to Dr. Alveda King and Dr. Eddie C. Beal. She grew up in Old Fourth Ward community of Atlanta, Georgia, and attended Ebenezer Baptist Church just like her great-uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She is the granddaughter of Naomi and the Reverend A.D. King. A.D. actually stands for Alfred Daniel. However, everyone called him A.D. Reverend A.D. King was Dr. King's brother. Celeste has taught internationally in France and has been a motivational speaker for 15 years. She graduated law school at Liberty University School of Law in 2010 and taught business law at Atlanta Metropolitan College. Celeste became an activist shortly after the death of Trayvon Martin and countless other victims of racially motivated violence, and vowed to stand for truth and justice. She worked with nonprofit organizations as a consultant, and now she's a trainer for the Nonviolence 365 program. Now let us view our Students with King Spotlight feature.
Because I did grow up. This is my beautiful grandmother, and our family is very close. When I was a child, I was bad. You know what I mean? I won't even lie about it. I would get in trouble. Me and the principal, we knew each other by first and last name. And so for me, growing up with that responsibility, because I had two older brothers who went through school before I did, so they knew who I was related to and would just shake their head. If your family knew how you were acting, they would be ashamed. And so when I was around ninth grade, it really hit me then and helped me to grow up to learn to live like by a good example, because you don't ever want to bring shame to your family. And so we would have cookouts for holidays. When I was a small child, I went to Ebenezer as well, and my great-grandfather, he was the pastor emeritus, which means he had stepped down from the main preaching, but he would still speak a lot. And I was actually baptized by him at the historic Ebenezer site. And we would go out to eat after the church services, and it was just wonderful. And I would just soak up all the wisdom from it. Dr. King was a scholar. He would read from everything from the great philosophers to a lot of ministers teaching Bible principles. He studied Gandhi, who had the philosophy of nonviolence. And what he would do, he'd pick little bits of truth from each of those sources, and he developed what we know today now as a Nonviolence 365. And so a lot of his principles and teachings aligned with what you see in the Bible, themes of love, themes of working together with, your better man. He will look at the philosophers to get like the longevity portion of it, trying to see how the world relates to each other. And then he wove that in with the active protests of nonviolence. When you look at the civil rights movement, it was one that had a very strong foundation of basic truths that they had to sow deep into their hearts. And one of the first principles that they would stand on was that nonviolence is a tool that's used by courageous people. It's not a method for cowards. You know what I mean? But in choosing nonviolence, you actually have to have more courage, because it takes a much more courageous warrior spirit to stand in love against things. And so what I know, everyone in my family, and I can say that I know it because I was with my uncle 2 days ago, and we were talking about the principles of love and how we engage with each other. Sometimes you have to have the courage to stand up and say that something is wrong. Sometimes you have to choose love instead of hate, because if you hate a person just because they hate you, then you're just as bad as they are. And how can you demand something positive from somebody if you're not giving it yourself? You know what I mean? And so not having hate won't solve a problem, but replacing hate with love will solve the problem. When I look at you guys now, I can see my great uncle's dream, because I see people from different communities all coming together, all sitting, and uniting in that love that was Martin Luther King's dream. And my hope is that all of you can take something away, realize that you can grow up. You don't even have to wait until you grow up. If you go and love someone today, you are making the world better. If you encourage your friends today, you are making their lives better. And a little bit of love can just continue to grow. And that's what I would like to see from each of you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our Spotlight story with Miss Celeste Beal. As a member of the beloved community, Celeste is doing her part to change the quality of life for all people. If you would like to learn more, please check out our website at thekingcenter.org. Special thanks to our sponsor, the National Football League, for making this moment possible.